we've now been joined by Kyle Busch, driver of the number 18 M&M's Crispy Toyota. And Kyle, you had the emotional win in Sonoma. Coming here to Watkins Glen, just talk a little bit about, your approach to this weekend's race here and coming onto another road course.
It was, certainly so unexpected, I guess, in Sonoma, but I feel like I've been a pretty good road racer over the years, so, it wasn't surprising, but, just look forward to these races. I always do every year. It's kind of fun. It's kind of, a quote-unquote weekend off from the oval stuff. So, just love the opportunity to get out there, turn right, turn left, and, have some shifting going on and everything else. So you try to make the most of it, have some fun with it, and come out of here with some decent finishes. So over the years, we've run real well here at Watkins Glen, I think a little more so than Sonoma. But, winning at Sonoma and having a really good car out there, I'm really optimistic about being here this weekend and hopefully carrying that road course momentum through here at Watkins Glen.
All right, we'll go ahead and take questions for Kyle. If you have one, please raise your hand and state your name and affiliation. And we'll start up front with Claire and then to the back.
Claire B. Lang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. Have you looked back at last week, had conversations with Adam Stevens and said, well, maybe we should have tried to save a little bit to win that one? And then looking ahead to this race, do you feel so much better physically than you did at Sonoma coming into this race?
Yeah, of course, Adam and I, we talked about it this week, and I went in Tuesday morning, and, I watched a couple of the NASCAR shows this week and heard some of the commentators kind of beating up on me about not saving fuel and listening to my crew chief. Well, my crew chief told me I did nothing wrong. So, he told me that we were not short on fuel, that we were 2/3 of the lap to the good. And he was not asking me to save fuel, but once I couldn't really catch the 22, to just save in case there was a yellow, save the car, save the tires, save the brakes, save all the stuff, the mechanics of the race car. So in case, we did have a shootout at the end, that I would be ready for it. But, it wasn't until the 22 bunch started getting on Joey about saving fuel with, I think, about 7 to go, that then, I heard my first, okay, save fuel. And by then, I mean, you're not going to save what you need in 7 laps. You're not going to have the opportunity to do that. I could have, if I would have gotten what I told Adam was the harp, at the Brickyard, we were short on fuel. And, Adam told me, he goes, hey, save fuel. And I asked him then again, I said, are you sure? He goes, yeah, bud, there's absolutely going to be no checkered flag for us if you don't save fuel. So, the tone was quite higher than that. So, we obviously have real good communication with one another. And it was just, we weren't short. And for some reason, we ended up being short that last run. And we know the reasons why now, but we didn't know at that particular point. Yeah, and I'm feeling better this week for sure than what I was at Sonoma. This is another, I guess it's another month and a half farther down the road, and in recovery and healing and everything else. So, I'm doing really, really good. I feel really, really good week in, week out, getting out of the car. Everything is going real well for me. So, I can't wait for the off season to to get the plates removed in my foot, and I feel like then I'll be right back to what I was before. So.
All right, go ahead.
Hi, Rick Bonnell, Charlotte Observer. Kyle, could you talk a little about Joe Gibbs' management style as a coach, as a boss, however you want to describe it?
Well, Joe's obviously a huge leader, not only in our sport. I think NFL, that's kind of where it started, obviously, him being the coach for years, being a 3-time Super Bowl champion. But I think everyone's well respected the man because of his demeanor as well as his beliefs and the strong Christian faith that he has. And so he obviously has done a really good job of knowing how to manage people and what to do with people over the years, and he continues to prove that in the racing business as well too. So Joe's been a great leader for our sport, or for our team, for his organization, and each and every year I continue to enjoy driving for him and learning from him and having those those talks and those laughs and those enjoyable times that we have together.
All right, go ahead, Alan.
Alan Cavana, Fox Sports. Kyle, you've won a lot of different series, a lot of different rules packages. I'm sorry, I can't remember. Have you ever won a race in the rain, and what would you think of that opportunity?
I've never won a race in the rain. I've raced in the rain twice in my life. Once was a Legends car race at the Charlotte Motor Speedway on Tuesday night, and Logano waxed the field. I do remember that. He was checked out. I think I finished fourth, and he lapped me. If that's any indication with the Legends cars there for the summer shootout. But past that, the second one was there was a rain race in Canada in the Nationwide series then. I think it was 2009, and I don't remember if I don't think it started in the rain, but it rained, so we all came in and did the rain tire thing, and then it stopped raining and it started to dry out, but we were so close to the end of the race that nobody really wanted to come in and waste the time to put dries back on. And so we were just sliding around and just absolutely blistered the rain tires, just killed them. So it's really, really difficult to know when to come in and put the slicks on, because there could be a path where it's dry, but there's other areas of the racetrack or spots on the racetrack that are wet, and if you're running slicks and you hit those wet spots, it's not going to be good. So you really have to manage that separation of dry versus wet.
All right, we're going to go to Bob and then to Jim. Go ahead, Bob.
Bob Margolis, PopularSpeed.com. Since the change in the eligibility for the chase has changed to just one win, a lot of fans say teams will win a race and then maybe just kind of skate till the postseason. And maybe some teams won't, but maybe a lot of teams will. Now that you see it from a different perspective, do you think the eligibility requirement of one race is setting the bar too low, and that maybe there should also be a points requirement as well?
I don't think so. I think winning in this sport is very, very tough. And you see it every single year. I think the average is only between 12 and 14 winners in a season, and that's been that way for 15 years or 20 years, whatever it's been. So, it's not all that easy to win these races. And, sometimes you look at teams, maybe last year you look at Eric Almirola and AJ Allmendinger, they won races to get themselves into the chase, but were their teams really ready for the chase? That's not for any of us to decide. It's for them to be able to compete and have that opportunity to compete for the championship. So, unfortunately, I think Almirola had really bad luck to start. I think he blew up twice, and so his was over before it even began. But, there's opportunity for teams like that, and I think this sport needs that. If AJ were to win again this weekend, I think it would be perfect for him to have the opportunity to race in the chase. Same for anybody else, like a Tony Stewart. If he were to win this weekend, I think it would be a true revival story of his season and maybe of his the rest of his career.
Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Go on this great streak. Is part of that inspired by the fact that, hey, the wins aren't enough for us, that we've got to continue to do well, and then maybe we don't see that from some other teams?
Well, good point. I don't know. I just think that we're really on a roll right now. I think everything's just really clicking for the 18 M&M's team. So, we won one, and we weren't necessarily satisfied with that. So we went to Kentucky, a place that's really good for me. We won again. We went to a place like Loudon where I finished second of 3 of the last 4 races there, and we won there this time, So, and then we backed it up at Indy where I finished second, I think, 2 of the last 3 years. So I've had some really good runs at these places. We just haven't been able to close the deal. And finally, closing the deal, it just all came together, So I'm not saying that those other teams aren't trying. They might. We're all well aware of the 48's team strategy every single season, right? They get in the chase, they lock themselves in, and then they go play for however long in order to try to learn some things. So, they're very smart in what they do, and I'm not so certain that the way they're running isn't fooling anyone right now.
All right, we'll take our final question from Jim.
Jim Utter, Motorsport.com. Coach has said several times, talked about the improvement of the organization in general. Your teammates have talked about it. as a guy who missed a great portion of the beginning of this season, can you compare, and you've really run well for the most part since your return, can you kind of talk about what you see, if anything, different between the organization as a whole and its performance while you've been back compared to, say, last year?
I think it's a lot of things, really, to be honest with you. I think it's the new aero package that we have this year on the Toyota, well, on everybody's car, but it benefited us at the Toyota camp a little bit more. I think our engine shop has definitely done a good job over the off-season adapting to this new engine change. And, you know, it's just a matter of everyone at Joe Gibbs Racing, the engineering group and everything, coming up with some fresh ideas over the off-season to try. I mean, we came out of the box, you know, I wasn't there, but we came out of the box strong. You know, they went to Vegas, and Denny ran in the top 5, and they went to California. I think Matt would have won if it wasn't for the rear end axle breaking on pit road, you know, and everybody just seemed to be really working well this year and having some good solid runs even before I got back. But, you know, since I've gotten back in the race car at Charlotte in May, it just definitely seems like, you know, that next level is kind of taken off for us at Joe Gibbs Racing. I don't know why, but you know, I felt like getting back in. Obviously, I needed to make up my points deficit and everything. I needed to run real well and run strong, and we've really been able to do that. And we've capitalized on some good days. We had some bad days, but we've definitely capitalized on some of those good days and winning 4 races. So it's just a matter now of hoping to continue this wave, this ride all the way through, you know, the next 15 weeks. You know, certainly. I've had plenty of years in my career where we've made it to the chase and everything's just kind of hit a brick wall. So hopefully we don't have that. And, you know, JGR continues to power through and really look strong through the postseason.
All right, Kyle, we appreciate your time today and wish you best of luck this weekend.